we're trying to create some content in the beginning
Okay.
to attract more people. So this
Okay,
is
good.
our first live.
Nice.
Yeah, so thank you very much for being part of it.
Wow, you're welcome. You're welcome. It's Corona, so I'm home.
Oh yeah, France is in quarantine now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Hi everyone! Now alive in YouTube. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's Sunday, so.
Yes. Now we begin with the question about the training routine.
Tô com muito lag.
Okay, so we're gonna split this interview in 3 sections, basically.
Okay.
And the first one is the training routine section. And I think each one of us is going to ask you one question.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know if, what do you think, Richard? At first, we introduce BMG, who he is, because there are a lot of newcomers in Brazil, so they could not know this legend. So I think it's good to like introduce him. Do you want to do it, or do I do it?
If you do it, is the best. I need the details of the partners.
I think BMG is the best one to introduce himself.
He can introduce himself, yeah.
So tell us about yourself.
Your career, yeah.
Sure. So, hi everyone. So, for the people who don't know me, my name is BMG, and I am a beatboxer from France. Yeah, so I started beatboxing 13 years ago in 2007, and and I battled for 10 years. So from 2008 to 2018. Yeah, I haven't battled since. So I took part to many battles in France and abroad. So French Championship, World Championship, GBB, etc. And and I had the chance to win the tag team World Championship in 2015. And I was also twice French vice champion in 2015 and 2016. Basically, so this is the main.
Yeah, so basically you are a legend.
It's a lot of I can't say that, but
no, you are.
I battled for a while, and I'm happy to still be in part of the beatbox family.
Yeah,
Even if
you are part of beatbox history.
Yeah, I still judge. So I started judging like 8 years ago. So in 2012 was my first battle as a judge, and I judged around 35 competition. Yeah,
awesome.
In maybe 15 or 20 countries. So I had the chance to discover the local beatbox communities in many countries.
So to get started with our sections here about the practice and learning or training routine sections, my question to you is, do you schedule time to practice or just do it whatever it's possible for you?
It depends. It's a good question because it depends on what I have to do in the future. I mean, in my beatbox. For example, if I plan to battle, of course I will try to schedule. I think it's very important to schedule. I think when you battle, one of the most important thing is to maintain a regular practice of your beatboxing. So when I plan to battle, of course I will schedule, like, if I can 2, 3, 4 months in advance in order to know which day I can beatbox, etc., and how long I can beatbox during each session. And now I am not battling anymore, so of course I practice a bit less. It's for me natural, because I beatboxed for battles more for than shows. But of course, as I am still judging, I have to perform sometimes, and I do some shows, etc. too as well. So yeah, so now you see, so it just depends on which kind of event you have in the future, and then you have to adapt it. I mean, adapt your beatbox training.
Sure.
Perfect.
So Rafael, if you want to ask your question.
For me, I'm more like a routine guy. I like to structure my routines, and I know that you are very technical, and I would like to know how you build your routines. Like, is based on combos, on technical stuff, or in the melodies?
It depends as well. I mean, like there are a lot of every beatboxer has a different way to build routines because they have different combos, different kind of sounds, etc. So in fact, I am not thinking this way when I am building a routine. First, we are beatboxers, so we are doing music, you know. So when you want to build, so you have to get a musical structure, you know. So intro, first drop, build up, and then big drop, and to try to find variation. Yeah. So it won't be in terms of sounds, you know. So how I do, so first of all, so I build routines when I am on my training sessions. So I beatbox, so like I'm freestyling a lot, listening to music, trying stuff, etc. And when I find something interesting, so let's say, for example, when I was doing like my grime, like so when I found this, so I was like, okay, so this will be my main drop, and then what kind of intro would be good for this routine, you know? So then I'm just freestyling to try to find an intro, and then I came on like motherfucking grime in the ground. It's about the fucking grime, you know? So okay, I am trying stuff, and then I'm like, okay, and then I try both. So motherfucking grime in the ground, okay. Tata, then I know that I have to, you know, like to prepare a build up. So like grime, and now, you know, like I prepare the build up, so now I have to drop, you know. And I think in the moment you have to drop, it's good to do sounds you haven't shown before. I mean, in the you know, to make people surprised and judges surprised of the drop, you know. So that's why I came up like, you know. So that's how I build up, and yeah, and for battles like 90 seconds round, this is the way I work, you know, like intro, first drop, build up, and drop. Yeah, and for 90 seconds, it's okay.
It's all about the question. Oh, sorry.
No, you were sorry.
The wallet question. Now.
Oh yeah, like it's my question right now.
Yeah.
What inspired me the most to start practicing beatboxing? You mean when I started beatboxing in my life, or when when I start practice?
Yeah, it's more like what made you realize that's what you wanted to do. Like what made you actually start to practice it, like it's something that you want to do for real, you know?
Okay. Yeah, for beatboxing, yeah, wow. So I discovered beatboxing on YouTube as a lot of people, you know, but like in 2007. And I also had the chance in my school. I had one or two friends who were beatboxing at that time as well. So that's how I came into beatboxing. But the thing which made me start beatboxing is when I looked at the French championship video, the first French championship, like 2006 and 2007. So I watched it on YouTube, and I was like, oh, wow, like how people can do that first. And second, in France in the past, like beatboxers really had like their own style, like own sounds, own style. Like every case snare was different. And so it was like really, really crazy for me to see such different styles at the same time. And I was like, oh, wow. And it amazed me so much. And then I started practicing. And yeah, and after 6 months of practicing, I went to my first battle and I met everyone. And so every beatboxer in France from the past, and then they gave me advices, etc., etc. And then I was even more motivated to battle again.
Yeah. Perfect. And the vibe questions.
Mm-hmm.
Vibe?
Are you there, Vibe?
Vibe there.
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you.
Sorry, I have so much lag, but I still want to make my question. My question is,
how is the market? Sure. And I can answer. So,
no problem, man.
How is the market for teaching beatbox in France?
Okay, yeah, it's like a lot in France. So we have we are lucky because we have like a special status for artists. You know, artists and beatboxer can live from their passion and get salary every month and stuff like that. So I won't get into details, but in France we have a good system for artists. Okay, so we perform. So a lot of beatboxers are performing, winning, etc. Because me, beatboxing is not my main job. I am working in investment banking. So
yeah, I know.
So yeah, but beatbox is my hobby. But yeah, but of course, for the people who are artists, they give a lot of teaching in France, like
support, right?
Yeah. So they teach. You can teach online first. Of course, you can. So in France, they give a lot of lessons from school and from different clubs. Sometimes I know Alem, for example, gave beatbox lessons for sport club. You know, like fitness, sport, stuff like that. And he could propose some lessons, etc. So beatbox is really cool because we only need our body to do it. So we can do it everywhere and anytime. So yeah. So most of the time we give lessons at school or some events as well, or in some centers, etc. But of course we have like, I think the market. I mean the market for teaching beatbox is growing up because we have more and more beatboxers. I see it. I mean, when I go to the French championship, I see many young people rocking the stage and trying to do more, and even people in the crowd still trying and stuff. So yeah, so the market is good, and I think it's just keep going.
And talking about the work and beatbox shows.
Yeah.
We have other questions. The Dude's question now.
Yeah. So Vibe's question was a good link for this section. So now we're going to talk about beatbox performances in shows. So my question is, what do you think are good strategies to expand beatbox community nowadays?
Yeah, wow, it's a good question. So what do you think are good strategies to expand the beatbox community? Okay, so I think I mean, now in 2020, it's like the world of social medias, you know, like everyone is connected to each other, etc. You know, like 15 years ago, it was not like this. We didn't have smartphones, applications, etc. Now we have the chance to get everything here. So I think what the good strategy will be to ensure a strong communication on internet. So for example, so I see many different accounts on Instagram about beatboxing. So share a lot of beatbox video from people from everywhere. So what I like to see also is, do you know, guys, Discord? I think Discord. Yeah. So I joined Discord like only 1 month and a half ago, but it's crazy to see like that you have a lot of different server, international server, local server from beatboxers as well. So I think it's a really, really good way to expand the beatbox community through Discord, because you just can go meet people, beatbox, and do everything from your home, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's good in our moment, no? And the coronavirus and
of course so with the COVID-19, of course, you know, like now we're just our home, and it's even more, you know, it's even more important. I mean, to now
yesterday
we all can stay home and beatbox. I mean, everyone
yesterday
in the world.
I was participating on Dilo's competition, and he was talking about this, because online competitions are the only safe method to battle now.
Yeah,
because you're not sharing mics.
Now, Rafael, question, a good question about the
community. Like talking about good strategies. Like, in your opinion, what beatbox can offer for the music industry?
So what beatbox can offer for the music industry? Wow. I think so. So there is, for me, one point for sure. It's like to make people amazed. You know, like when you have some music, etc. So of course, I love singing. I love hearing singers, and some singers amaze me. You know, like But for beatboxers, you know, like beatbox is getting more and more popular, but it's not really popular like music is. So every time we go to perform, or most of the time when we do shows, people don't really know about beatboxing. So when we go on stage and do our music, people are just amazed because we are able to do music with our body, you know. So we just don't sing, we make music. And I think, so for example, me, that's why I love beatbox shows. And I don't really like, to be honest, like pre-record stuff or stuff like that. Because when you are on stage facing to the crowd, you know, the crowd really realize like, oh, this guy is doing those sounds in front of me, and it's real, you know, it's real. That's why that's what I like from live shows, you know, because of course it's really good, you know, to create some music with sounds, etc. But if you just do an audio, I don't think people can realize how entertaining it can be, how hard it can be, and you know. So I think So for me, we really bring like amazing stuff, like a thing to surprise people, and of course musically, as you can see with beatboxers, like nowadays beatboxers are inventing like crazy sounds and sounds effect we don't have in the music, you know. So of course in terms of sound panel and structure and stuff like that, I think beatbox can offer some stuff
sorry.
to music.
I changed your question.
I finished.
Valid question. And I was moderating and reading about the question.
Yeah.
Say,
I have an interesting question.
Yeah. So what's the
my question is about the purpose video.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. So of course, I think it got for spreading beatbox art in France. Yeah. So for spreading beatbox art in France, yes. So of course we had more beatboxers, and at the same time, so I was watching the French Champ 27, and I think Pulpo is the same year as well. So so you know, I mean, even for me, you know, like it worked for me, you know, like it amazed me as well. But of course, when I was starting beatboxing, you know, all the French people were referring to people, you know, so which means that he spread beatboxing. You know, saying no would be a lie.
Yeah.
So So I would say yes, and I would say even out of France, because I know that a lot of beatboxers who are not in France know Pulpo as well.
Yeah,
I was one of them. First video I saw was Pulpo's.
So yeah. So with YouTube, etc., yes. So the answer is clearly yes. And in France,
nice, bro.
Yes, yeah.
Nice. And now in competition.
No, there's Warlet's question.
Oh, there's Warlet.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
I have a lot of. Now, one moment.
You can start just question.
Yeah. Your question.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
You can say. Well,
so okay, what is the best way for beatboxers to find their originality? Because like, I know a lot of people that are starting, they tend to copy their favorite beatboxers. I think this is something that a lot of people struggle with. So I wanted to know, how did you do that with yourself, and what would you say to people that want to have their own type of beat?
Yeah, so what you say at the beginning, I think is right, and it's normal. I mean, when you start beatboxing and trying to do some stuff, of course, you copy, which is normal. Even me, I think everyone did it, So first of all, yeah, what you say is true, but then of course we have to get original. And how? I think it's a bit hard. It's a bit hard to get original, and I think it's even harder now because the most number of beatboxer you have, and the hardest, it will be to find new stuff. So I think honestly, you have to take your phone and throw it away. Throw it away. Yeah, I think you have to. I don't think it's a good thing to watch every time at beatboxers, because the trap of being a beatboxer, and I'm sure it happened to a lot of people, and even me, is when you are into beatboxing, at the end you listen more beatbox than music, and yeah, and this is a trap, because you just listen to beatboxers, and then you just have inspiration from things which already exist in the beatbox scene. But if you focus more on music, to listen more, what different kind of musics, and then analyze the structure, try to practice with, etc. I think music is the best inspiration for us to beatbox, because a lot of beatboxers are watching other beatboxers, but I don't think they really focus on music, which is like rich. I mean, full of rich information we can have and practice. Yeah. So of course, to be short, of course, it's good to get inspired from the beatboxers, because you can get a lot of sounds, and of course, it helps you to develop your sound panel and music skill. But of course, you have to listen to music and practice. This will help you the best originality.
Perfect.
Nice.
And now about the competitions.
Yeah, so moving to the final section here.
Yeah, and
talking about competition, competitions or battles. My question to you is, what are the differences you see in battles from 10 years ago and battles nowadays?
Good question. I think it's a good question, because of course from 10 years ago and now it changed. And how to say, like, I think 10 years ago, we didn't really think about the structure of the round, So 10 years ago, I think in France, it was like practicing a lot, having a lot of combos, but you don't really prepare in advance, So you just have your combos, and then when you go on stage and take the mic, so according to the opponent you have, you will choose this combo and that combo. But most of the time, it will be more or less freestyle, and the guy who use the most crazy combo, I mean, the most technical combo will win, you know. But now I think it's totally different because we all improved as a beatboxer and we are more like musician. So as I said, the structure, as I said in the first part, the structure now is getting really, really important. And when you look at the battle right now, you see that every beatboxer prepares everything. They prepare all the rounds, all the intro, all the routines, all the knobs, all the structures. So everything is prepared. So I think this is a big difference, the big difference between 10 years ago and now. Like 10 years ago, we just practice for a lot of combos, and then on stage you just do it the way you want. I mean, freestyling and the best wins. But now it's more like musical competition. Like you prepare everything, you build everything, and you do on stage all what you prepared before.
Nice.
Perfect.
Nice.
And the wallet question?
Okay.
Mine? Okay. Yeah. So why, in your opinion, are battles so important for the beatbox culture? Because like it's not something we have in every type of art, like competing with each other. So why do you think this is so important in this kind of art, you know?
Because I think this is how it can make you improve and improve of all of us. Like battling, I think, is a way to improve, because you have to face some beatboxers. So battling, in fact, is really hard. If you want to do it really well, it's really hard, because you have to deal with the crowd. You have to deal with the judge and the other beatboxer looking at you. You have to go in front of your opponents. You have to manage the sound system. You have to manage to control your stage presence, and so on and so on. So I think battling is a really, really good exercise. And I think for me, like, battles are even more stressful than shows, because shows, people don't really know beatboxing every time and stuff like that. So it's chiller. But when you go to battle, so you have to face someone and to face judges and crowd, which are most of the time beatboxers and who know about beatbox. So, so for me, it's a really, really, really good exercise for you to go and try to be better and try to be better every time. That's the good thing of battling. And I really love the battles in the beatbox culture, because it's not like rap or stuff like that. Like, I don't know in Brazil, but in France, rap battles can be not so good, not so cool, not so peaceful. And
Okay.
even in dancing. But in beatboxing, we have the chance to get like really close to each other and really kind, and so I think it's really, really important. And battles, of course, make beatboxer meet, which is really, really, really important too. Like, you improve more when you are with beatboxer than when you are alone. It's really, so that's why for me battles is so good for the beatbox culture.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Nice.
The Rafael question, I was having problem with the banner, but no problem. Your question, Rafael.
That's okay. Like, as you said, you battled for 10 years and now you're judging battles. Also, you appreciate beatbox as music or something like that. And for my question is, for you, what makes a good battle? Like, what makes a battle pleasing for the crowd, the judges, and even the competitors themselves?
Okay. So what makes a good battle? Okay, that's good. It's a good question. So first of all, I would say, like beatboxers, we are performers, which means that you have to be good as a beatboxer, but you have to be really good with your stage presence as well. So for me, the two guys have to have a strong presence on stage first. Second, I think, of course, the quality of your beatbox, so the quality and the structure, and so this has to be good, and in your presence, you have to get some moment with the crowd, and then some moment with your opponent, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And what do we like in a battle? It's answers, when the guy answers to each other, so when you reply to one sentence or to one routine, or that's for me like the concept of battling,
Mm-hmm.
which give us which makes the thing like more entertaining. So for me, yes, this is the 3 points, like good beatbox, strong stage presence, and answers. Because, why answers also? Because it's not necessarily something you had prepared before. You can prepare some answers, but sometimes you just do it with, with the conditions of the battle make you feel you can do it. So just go, and so just having like a flavor from a live, from a live part, like just. Yeah, what I don't like, for the battles now, so it's really, really good to, to prepare and do stuff. But now it looks like more shows than battling, because everyone prepare everything. So it's like you learn a lesson and then you just say it, but there's not the battle passion and stuff, So that's why I say answers is really funny, entertaining, and sometimes it can make the difference. For example, Napalm versus Alexinho, World Championship 2 years ago, when Alexinho take the phone and say black,
Yes.
This was not prepared, and just with the flavor, so, and he made him win. So this is a really good example. So preparing is really good, but also when you are on stage, act with your heart and your brain, and see what you can do.
Perfect. And vibe question.
Vibe question.
Right?
I can do it. I can say it because I see it's frozen.
Are you there, Vibe?
Vibe is dead. Your internet, I believe that there's problem.
Yeah, he's having some lag.
What criteria do you think are very important to do a battle, BMG? Rest started.
For battle.
Yeah.
Report.
Okay. So, what judgment criteria do you think are very important to judge?
We have some lag here. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay, no worries. I think it's a good question also, because I think like criteria 10 years ago are maybe not the criteria today,
Yeah.
So in the past, a lot of people were saying like technicality, originality, and some people gave no votes, But now I don't think like it's the best anymore. Because there are like a lot of other parameters, and the style of beatboxers evolved a lot. So now I think so. Of course, you have some main criteria which are like structure, how is your music built. Then, of course, the originality, like the ability for you to do things that other people don't do. And, of course, the stage presence, see how you can control the crowd and how you open. And so for me, this is like the main criteria. Then, of course, when you listen to battles, you pay attention to a lot of things, like, is the guy feeling comfortable on stage? Is it on time? Sometimes people are not on time. So yeah. So for me, you have like, so how are the answers as well? So you have many things, but for me, if you have to stick to the main points, it would be like structure, originality, stage presence, and consistency as well. Are your beats really consistent and strong? And sometimes some people have some good structure, but like sometimes it's not really strong, or it's like like sometimes too simple. It's good, but too simple. So someone like more complicated stuff will, So yeah, I think
Perfect.
Yeah.
Good point. And the last question about the public, and
Sure.
the public sent the last questions.
So
Okay. So sorry, I let you. Sorry.
Yes.
yeah, so I'm gonna read the question for you. The audience sent to you. So, which battle was the most insane for you? What is your point about the public voting in beatbox battle?
Okay.
So two questions actually.
Yeah, it's two questions. Yeah, but it's good. It's good. So, which battle was the most insane for me? So, I would say Skiller versus Rips One 2012 World Championship. If you look at the battle now, maybe I would understand people saying that it could be another one. Like I understand, but I was there and I go to every GBB and stuff. So I saw a lot of battles, but for me, if I have to remember one, it would be this one. Why? Because first of all, for me it was really crazy to see like when the battle start, like all the crowd get like shut up. It was like religious, like two people, two legends on stage, and bam. For me, that's really the feeling I had at this moment, and it's good because also you can see the confrontation of two different battling styles. So Skiller, who prepared everything, you can hear that all his rounds are prepared, versus Rips One, which works with freestyle and moves and and see how the vibe is on stage. So for me, it was like really cool to see like two different kind of battlers, but both was really great. Like two different ways of battling, but both were perfect, which means that there is not one rule to be good at beatbox battles. And of course, with the answer from Skiller, your time is over. So for me, if I have to choose one, it would be Skiller versus Rips One World Championship 2012.
Awesome.
Then, what is your point about the public voting in beatbox battle? So, what I will say is maybe like I assume my position on this question, and I don't like this. To be honest, I don't like this. Why? Because in battles, like in these systems, what I think is you just can bring your friends. You just bring all your friends in the public, and then
I have a lot of friends. Go, friends.
So the people who brings the most higher, friends win. So I don't think it's really fair play. I know in some battles, in some countries, they do that. So, for example, last year I lived 6 months in Japan, and I judged battle in Japan. And what they do sometimes, like there are like 4 beatbox judges and 1 public and 1 vote for the crowd. So yeah, I don't think people know a lot about beatboxing every time, you know. So, of course, when they scream, etc., I think the crowd reaction is very, very important, of course. But I don't really think they every time have the ability to judge, you know. So, so I think. So yeah, I would not recommend that. So as a battler, I mean, or next battler, I prefer like when people who judge me knows about what I am doing, knows about my discipline and stuff. So yeah, so I would just prefer to have like beatboxers or musicians, which can work like musicians, DJ. In France, we sometimes try to change or to mix. I mean, some years ago we did like 4 beatboxers and then one musician, you know, because he or she can judge with his or her point of view, which is different from beatboxing, you know, like it's something fresh, and yeah, and I think it could be interesting for us to get this point of view, you know. But from someone who is attending his first beatbox event, you know, I don't think it's really accurate.
Perfect. And BMG, and the interview, and could you do the maniac that publicly send messages? BMG, maniac, please, maniac,
Yeah.
please.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, they're asking you for you to do the maniac routine.
Okay. Okay. So I go from dark horse to maniac. You're a maniac, maniac. You're maniac, maniac. This is right, Ash?
Yeah, awesome.
You're my hero.
Nice.
Thank you very
Nice,
much.
BMG. Thanks your time, your turn,
You're welcome.
Good now, my boys. I was having problems technicals, but live was good. And thank you your support, your time. Thank you guys. And BMG.
Thank you, BMG.
Appreciate your
Yeah.
Big up.
If I just can say one thing,
Of course.
Yeah, of course.
My pleasure.
Of course, and your question was really interesting. That was really fun to see this kind of questions and not look for it before, you know, just discovering which give people, beatbox, the people can give like the most like honest and direct answers. I think, yeah. So big up to you guys. The concept is really nice.
Thank you.
Thank you
very much. Thank you for your time, BMG.
Thank you, bro. And
Big up, bro.
good hug to you. Big up.
Big up.
See you soon.
See ya.
Bye.
See you soon, man.
Bye.
Ash.
Ash.
Ash.